apparently you're dead, according to this Kurzgesagt video that we're getting into today. They did the math. It's called We Did the Math and You're Dead. If you're into videos like this that are fascinating, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Let's get right into the video. Let's go.
Absolutely everything you think about yourself and the universe could be an illusion.
Whoa. You know, if you really think about it, our existence is all created in the mind, really, right? Because your brain takes inputs, various inputs, and gets converted to electrical signals and gets sent for processing through your neurons. So there's many steps between reality and your interpretation of reality, and even the sensory inputs that could be corrupted, manipulated. Funny things could happen there, right? So what is really reality? What is really real?
As far as you know, you are real and exist in a universe that was born 14 billion years ago, and
as far as we know,
that gave rise to galaxies, stars, the Earth, and finally you.
Look at you in those tight pants.
Except, maybe not. You may actually not exist for real.
Ooh, imagine we're in some little lab somewhere in someone's dark, twisted experiment in some other universe, and we're just some test subject.
But be the dream of a dead universe.
What? The dream? The dream? The dream of a dead universe?
You and everything you think exists. Crazy.
Everything that exists. Wow, Kurzgesagt. Talk about trying to mentally F people. Okay.
As it sounds, this may be an unavoidable consequence of our best scientific theories about the universe. Okay, this is a bit much. Let's start at the beginning. We need to understand three concepts for this idea to make sense.
Okay.
One,
give it to me.
The arrow of time. What distinguishes the past from the future?
Simply that one event came before the other, right? And I would say also, doesn't entropy cause time? Entropy is time, I would think. Like they're intertwined. Entropy happens because of time, and time happens because of entropy. Because one event moving towards disorder is just, one event before the other. That's time, right? One thing happens, then the next, then the next, then the next, then the next, in my interpretation.
Put a drop of red ink into a glass of water, and you see the ink spread until it fills the container, but never the opposite. Colored water where ink spontaneously concentrates and becomes a drop at the
entropy, right? Like it going the opposite way is the reverse of entropy, but entropy goes forward and time goes forward. Okay.
Surface again. Time always seems to flow in the direction in which the ink spreads. But if you take a microscope, all you will see will be a swarm of molecules colliding at random. There are no rules, no forwards and backwards. Every individual motion that happens can occur in reverse.
True, technically, but wouldn't there need to be a driving force for that to happen in reverse? Whereas entropy has natural forces just acting upon it.
But we perceive a sort of arrow of time that makes things happen in one direction. How does this phenomenon occur? Well, this arrow of time is not actually fundamental, but a matter of probability.
It is not fundamental, but just probability, right? I guess that makes sense because it isn't fundamental, because technically you could throw a bunch of puzzles up in the air and technically do it enough times. Maybe one of those times all the pieces fit together when they land on the ground. So reverse of entropy sometimes could happen by random chance, which puts it towards probability and statistics and chance.
When ink molecules spread to fill a glass, there are many different slots of space they can occupy, and therefore many different possibilities to combine them. And just like your chances of winning the lottery grow the more tickets you have, the probability
no matter how many tickets I get, I'll never win the lottery.
that ink molecules will end up filling the glass is much higher than the probability that they'll concentrate in just one spot. So it's not that the ink forming a drop again.
He's rubbing that fishbowl a little too provocatively. What's going on? You have an emotional attachment to this fishbowl?
Is forbidden by the laws of physics. It's just extremely unlikely. To see it, you'd have to wait about 10 to the power of 106 stillion years.
See what I mean? Do it long enough, even something that's unlikely to happen is going to happen, right?
a 1 followed by 100 sextillion zeros. If you had this much time to spare, eventually, by pure random chance, you'd see a red blob form again. Actually, with enough time, you could see any shape forming. Like, for example, a small, red, soggy brain.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, it's made out of ink. It's just in the shape of a brain. Okay. Kurzgesagt viewing. It's a bit graphic.
Okay, let's move on to idea 2. 2. The far future of the universe. Our universe was born 14 billion years ago in the Big Bang. It
Bang, bang.
expanded and evolved to give rise to the myriads of galaxies and things. In other words, the universe is kind of a glass of water with a lot of ink doing stuff. It
So the universe is our fishbowl?
has an arrow of time. But the universe is not a static glass. It seems to be getting bigger at an ever-increasing speed because of dark energy. Basically, everything in it is getting more and more diluted. In about 100 trillion years, the last star will die.
Oh my God. What a sad, sad day that would be.
Then, few interesting things will happen for the next few decillions, vantillions, and Googles of years.
Google's a year. Will Google still be around giving search results?
Eventually, the universe will be a dark place fully dominated by dark energy, a rapidly expanding ball of pure space, almost devoid of matter. You might think that this would lead to the ultimate death of everything, but dark energy has one last surprise for you. In a universe dominated by dark energy, space expands so dramatically that it creates a cosmic horizon around you.
What does that sound like? That sounds like a black hole.
Border beyond which nothing will ever be able to reach you, not even light. So for every practical purpose, the universe has become a glass of finite size, about 36 billion light years wide, surrounded by an impassable cosmic horizon. Such a universe glass is basically a giant black hole turned inside out.
And is that where that theory in the previous video comes from? Where are we inside a black hole?
We know that due to quantum effects, all black holes emit a tiny amount of particles, a phenomenon known as Hawking radiation. And so does our inside-out black hole. In the end, this radiation will fill the universe glass with particles again. At this point, so far in the future that giving you a number has no more meaning, we've reached the true final state. The universe has now become a closed box full of particles at an extremely low but finite temperature. And since they have a temperature, they undergo random motions. Or in other words, a glass filled with water and ink and an infinite amount of time ahead. Things are about to become interesting again.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Is the universe going to get reborn once again? Once again?
3. Typing monkeys and fake universes.
I'm sure you all heard that whole thing, that theory of, you put a bunch of monkeys with typewriters. Eventually one is going to come out with a novel.
Eternity is a long, long time. So now, even the most extremely unlikely things can happen. The fluctuating particles are bumping into each other over and over and over again, creating every combination of particles that's possible. They're like a monkey typing at random on a typewriter. Almost all of the time it types gibberish. But with enough time, eventually it will write the first acts of Hamlet. And with even more time, the complete work...
There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom spaghetti. That's a M&M line.
of Eminem. If ink in our universe glass generates any random arrangements of particles, what could they be? Well, a spontaneous fluctuation could give rise to a planet, or to a galaxy, or even to a lot of them. So maybe our universe has already ended, and all we see around us is a pop-up universe.
And how does that make you feel about your existence in this universe? Me, I'm still goddamn happy we exist at all.
Not a universe that evolved from a Big Bang, but one that fluctuated into existence by pure chance. And that, like the drop of ink, will only exist for a while before dissolving again. Being random, pop-up...
And we're probably at the prime time, if we came into existence much earlier, the universe would be very hot and not so friendly. And if we came very late at the end, where a lot of stars are dying out or don't even exist any longer, that sounds like a very rough existence. Maybe that could still be possibly happen. Life could still survive that around black holes. But, you look up into the sky and you won't see all these beautiful stars.
Universes could be similar to ours, but with funny many glitches. In some of these universes, dinosaurs are riding snails. In another, stars are made of blueberries.
Their imagination runs wild at Kurzgesagt.
In another, you're wearing a funny hat. Scientists in such universes wouldn't understand those glitches, so maybe the greatest mysteries of physics are just nonsense bugs of our pop-up universe. But not all possible fluctuations of our dead universe have the same probability of occurring. Smaller fluctuations are much more probable than bigger ones. A planet is more likely than a galaxy. But you know what's even way more likely? A human brain.
Okay, well, is it very likely just because it already happened? We know it happened because we exist, right? So is he talking about it just popping into existence like that randomly? Not very likely, right? How would this process even come to be? Because a human brain is too complex to just pop into existence. It has to go through a process.
Are you actually just a brain? You think, therefore you exist.
Yes, the famous philosopher René Descartes.
But what else do you truly know? In the end, your brain is just interpreting signals from your senses and creating a world that you experience.
Right. And so this could all be fake. Heck, in the near future, I'm pretty certain that we could create devices that tap into these signals and make you experience things like it's really happening to you. And there's obviously huge markets for something like that, from gaming to training, exploration and travel. Oh my God, every sector would have benefits for some device like that. And we're already starting with the merging of chips with brains, neural networks, AI, VR. Oh my God, it's definitely going to come to fruition because electrical signals, we're already doing a lot of manipulation of that. And it's just a matter of time that we get sophisticated enough to be able to manipulate on the scale of the amount of data your brain gets inputted, right? That's what I think. What do you think?
So technically, you could be just your brain that thinks the world is real. And if we follow the logic of the ink in the universe class, in particular, you could be a disembodied brain that, just by chance, emerged in a dead universe with your complete set of knowledge and memories.
Do you wake up from this dream when you die and you find out that you're just a brain floating in some empty void? Oh my God. That'd be so sad.
This is a pretty bizarre idea, but if we do the maths, it's kind of pretty solid. Let's
the maths lead it to be a probability. Ooh, okay. Let's see where you're going with this, Kurzgesagt.
compare the number of brains inside bodies in a living universe with the number of naked brains in a dead universe. Let's go really big and imagine that a total of 100 quadrillion humans will live around Earth.
Wow.
And that the same amount of people will live around every star in the universe.
Wow.
If we add this together, we get about 10 to the power of 41 brains inside bodies that will exist. However, in a dead universe that has had enough time to explore all possible fluctuations and that will exist forever, the number of naked brains that would emerge is, well, infinite. So the probability that you're a floating brain is not only vastly larger than the probability that you're a real human, it's so inconceivably larger that we can't even meaningfully quantify the difference.
God damn. So basically they're saying it's more probable that you're a floating brain than that you're a real actual person. Huh? That's what Kurzgesagt is arguing here. Let's keep it going.
How do you compare a number to infinity? So, are you a floating brain that exists for one moment in time, then basically forever passes, and then you exist for another moment in time?
Oh. Why all these trippy ideas? What's behind this? Is there something useful behind this? Because I could start imagining all kinds of scenarios, but try to put math and numbers together to say this is probable. What does this exercise do for us? Kurzgesagt?
Maybe not even in that order. Maybe your life happens backwards and you just don't notice.
What?
Maybe you've lived trillions of times already. Are you the dream of a dead universe? Really?
Jeez.
Like, really? Wow, probably not.
Okay, thank you for bringing us back to reality.
First of all, there are a few loopholes. For example, dark energy could behave completely differently from what we think today and lead us to another future. Or maybe our dead universe will be too motionless to allow the creation of brains, even with infinite time.
Yeah, that sounds much more likely.
Or maybe the universe will end up dying in another way. Our understanding of the cosmos doesn't have a solid enough foundation for anyone to worry if they're real or not.
Imagine you start like losing it because you just watched this Kurzgesagt video. You start questioning everything, wondering, what's the point of life? Why am I here? Why continue? Oh, don't do that. If you're watching this, don't let that happen, okay? This is just all entertainment.
Loopholes aside, if you were a fluctuating brain, all the laws of physics stored in your brain would have originated at random and shouldn't bear any relation to the real world. But we just used those laws to prove that you're a floating brain. So even if you believe that you are a floating brain, you'd have to admit that you have no good reason to believe that you are actually a floating brain.
Even if you're actually a floating brain, you have no good reason to actually believe you are actually a floating brain. Yeah. I mean, why would you believe that? Why would you want to believe that? And what would that do for you? What does that change in your life? Say this is actually true. You're a floating brain. Now what, right?
Okay, so this hallucinatory trip might teach us something about our theories about the universe. But in the end, it's just a really weird exercise in what
That's why I told you, people, just entertainment.
you can do with physics. An exercise of what brains and bodies are able to think about.
And also how you could manipulate physics, maths, to just make almost any argument. So it's very useful to take things with a grain of salt, right? And still try to keep things fully grounded in verifiable things, repeatable things. Even if things seem to appear one way, could be all an illusion.
So don't worry, you're not a dream of the dead universe. Probably.
I was about to clap it up. Then Kurzgesagt had to say probably and just ruined it.
At Kurzgesagt, we...
Okay, so that was the end of this video. If you're now completely questioning your whole existence, good on you. That means you are thinking. And if you think I am, therefore I am. Is that how it goes? If I think I am, therefore I am, therefore I think I am, because therefore I am. You know the line. But if you enjoyed this video and you enjoy videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like this video, helps me a lot with the algorithm, and write a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this whole concept, and see you in the next video. Don Mecca out.